Product Hunt, I'm assuming everyone is familiar with it. It's a website. Here, I'll just launch right into it. Product Hunt is a great website that has a daily batch of products that are launched, and the community has the opportunity to come in and upvote them. There's live rankings, so you can see throughout the day what the #1 product of the day is, and you can kind of see it change as the upvotes change. And then anyone can post user comments on the landing page for each product. So you'll have early users that are like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest product ever. And then you'll have Product Hunt people who come in and they're like, wow, what a great idea. Here's some ideas, here's some feedback. So Product Hunt has a really strong community. It has people that kind of like watch it every day and are constantly like sharing it and talking about it and really promoting it. And then also kind of keeping new products in line. If someone launches a product that's like half-baked, or you can tell they're just trying to like sell something and not really doing it in the spirit of Product Hunt, then the community members will kind of gang up on them and challenge them a little bit to make sure that the spirit of Product Hunt is kept at getting feedback and really like nurturing new products and helping give them visibility and velocity. So that's kind of like the idea behind it. And I would recommend, if you haven't, sign up for Product Hunt, get on there, look around, check out some products, and just get a feel for how it works, because it's pretty cool. So the products that are launched on Product Hunt, they're not all traditional, just like, brand new software products and startups. A lot of them are. So anytime someone, builds a new software product, they'll launch it on there, and then you can get in and sign up and try it. But you also have anyone that has like major new features for their digital product. This might be something that's a game changer for existing users, or it might allow a new customer segment to use their product. So a lot of MarTech software products, for example, will do a launch whenever they add a major integration that opens up functionality for their product to like a whole different group of users who use this other tools, such as I don't know, Salesforce, for example. Like a Salesforce integration would be a valid like Product Hunt product to launch. You also have a lot of digital content and resources. I saw today somebody launched an ebook on like how to get your first 1,000 customers. So this is a valid Product Hunt. You have a lot of digital subscriptions. The day that we launched our Product Hunt, we were the #1 product. The #2 product was a woman who is pretty well known in like the wellness and mental health space. So she had launched this newsletter. It was a paid subscription newsletter to all of her followers. And so she launched on Product Hunt, and she was the #2 product of the day. So you can also have, products like that. So the definition of a product is a little bit loose, and anything that allows people to kind of like sign up and online and do it. And then the way that Product Hunt keeps everything organized is through categories. There's lots of categories. There's like more than 10. I just listed a few here to give you an idea. The productivity category is probably the biggest one and the most active. The developer tools is one of the least active. That's the one that we launched in. Then you have social media tools, iPhone apps, and so on and so forth. So you can actually subscribe to a specific category if you want to receive like notifications specifically around that category. So if you're like a social media expert and you want to hear about all the latest like social media tools coming on Product Hunt, then you can do that. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about Product Hunt because this is more about how to capitalize on it, but just wanted to give a good overview, and I'll just stop and see if there are any questions about Product Hunt. Okay, cool. Oh, so quickly, a little bit about me. I probably know everyone on here, but here's my background. Founded TourBuddy Apps here in Savannah. It was acquired last year by our largest competitor. I've spent the last at least 5 years working in the tech community, working with startups. I lived in Paris for a couple years where I was head of product marketing for Zenaton. That was the product that we launched in October. That was the #1 product of the day. And I've also worked recently with some scaleups in Paris, which was pretty exciting too. So that's me. When Zenaton launched in October, just to give you an idea, we were a orchestration engine for developers to allow developers to basically link together all of the plumbing of all of their different services without having to build the infrastructure for that. Highly technical product, only understood by not even all developers. But we launched on Product Hunt as a way to raise visibility for a product, to get out in front of a lot of people that had never heard of us before. and to get feedback, because we had a really confusing, hard to understand product that had a pretty high learning curve. So just, I'll talk a little bit more about that as we jump into it. But I had never really known much about Product Hunt before we launched. So we did a ton of homework. Like I said, we were #1 product of the day. I mean, I can't take credit for it. We had a really amazing product, and our user reviews and comments were like really, really good, which helped to attract a lot more people. But so here I'm going to give you a lot of the things that we learned, and specifically, if you're interested in launching on Product Hunt, some of the things that it can do for you. So the most important thing to know about Product Hunt when you launch is it is the most valuable channel. That's all it is a channel. It allows you to kind of like quickly get out there in front of new customers, early adopters, get feedback at a velocity that would be really hard to achieve by yourself early on. You would have to like spend a lot of money on social media advertising. And honestly, you couldn't even get new users to sign up that quickly, because you wouldn't have the validation of something like Product Hunt, because you're not advertising to people, you're not selling to them. They feel like they're finding you. They feel like, you know, other people are recommending you. It has, you know, all the comments and reviews. So it's a really neat channel when you have very little customers, very little visibility already in the market. And it's a nice way to validate your early product solution fit, so that you can see if the product that you built actually does the thing that you think it does for your users. So think of it as like a great way to achieve velocity. It's also a sustainable channel. Like, believe it or not, that you have your product launch day where you launch, where you get a lot of traffic and a lot of people coming and signing up that are curious, but every single day after that, you will continue to have referrals that come from Product Hunt. You will continue to have people that find you through Product Hunt that come in, they sign up, and because they're coming through that kind of validated channel where they're able to see all of the comments and the feedback, and if you had success on Product Hunt like we did, where you're #1 product of the day, #5 product of the week, they feel like, oh, this is a good product, this is something I can trust. So by the time they come to your website, they've already kind of made that credibility decision, and they're ready to sign up a lot faster and try your product and invest that time in seeing if it works for them, versus just landing on your website by themselves and not having that first step. So think of it as a sustainable channel that's going to continue to like drive traffic and referrals to your site. And then the visibility, you can't beat it. Product Hunt is a global website. We launched in France, so we had a lot of visibility within the French market. But Product Hunt gave us, you know, we had signups from India. We had a ton of US customers that signed up that day. Previously, we didn't have a lot of US customers. We were able to get a lot of traction within, you know, especially the West Coast, which was a big market for us being a developer tool. So really, there's not a lot of other channels that can give you immediate reach all over the world. And the best part, it's free. It costs nothing. So really, there's no reason not to do it. And now that I understand it the way that I do, I kind of wish that I had used it like over and over for every single product I've ever worked on. So I have made it my calling to go out and tell everyone who's building something that kind of sort of maybe could work on Product Hunt, just do it. Put it out there and do it. Because it's free, you have nothing to lose, and you have all these other things to gain. All right, so in order to proceed with the Product Hunt, you have to understand a little bit the psychology of the product hunters. That's what we call the people who look for products on Product Hunt and then come and sign up. So these people are more early adopter mentality. These are not kind of like your mainstream customers. These are not people who have a problem, are searching, looking for a solution, find your product, and want to see if it fits their problem. These are people that are just interested, curious. They want to see the next thing. They want to know about all the new things. They want to talk about all the new things. So these people are really quick to sign up. Like, they come to your website, especially if they come to your Product Hunt, which I explain why that gives credibility. They read a couple of the comments. They hear that it's cool. They read about what people are using it for. They come in, they click around barely, then they sign up right away. So what that means is after people sign up, you want to make sure at a minimum you have some sort of onboarding content that kind of explains like how to use it, what it's for, value prop. You might say, oh, all that's on my website, but actually they aren't going to spend a lot of time looking at your website. They're going to look at your landing page, look at your little blurb, and then they're going to jump in and want to like try it out right away. And if these are like part of the Product Hunt community people, they try a lot of products. So they're constantly signing up for products. And they also are expecting some content and information about the product later, because they might have signed up for 3 or 4 products that day. So it's also great to have some some nurturing automated emails set up over the next 2 weeks that just kind of reaffirm your value proposition, maybe your key features, just to kind of remind them like why they signed up. And frankly, a lot of these people, depending on your product, they're not going to have a specific use case. So they might just sign up, look around, and then leave. And you think like, oh man, you know, they didn't use my product. It's like, yeah, that's because they didn't really need it, but they just wanted to know about it. They wanted to be curious. And they might have a use case in the future. They might mention it to someone that has a use case. But you can't really expect them to like need your product right away and start using it. So don't be discouraged if that doesn't happen. And again, I think those nurturing emails will kind of help remind them of you, and they might be likely to refer you to someone that does have that problem. They're also a supportive and social community. If they like what they see, or if it, you know, if it touches them in some way, they're gonna give you really great comments and supportive feedback. They're gonna come into your website, they're gonna chat with you, they're gonna be like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. Here are some ideas. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? If they like it, they're going to want to share it. We had so many people all over the world posting all about us on Twitter for like literally months after our product hunt, because they found it, they thought it was cool. And again, this is what the product hunt community is about. It's about kind of like sharing and being helpful to the world. So they want to like share this product and help both the product get visibility, but also help people find it. They also will tell you if you're like not following the rules or not being like, you know, like if you, I saw today on the ways to get your first 1,000 customers, product hunters were complaining because they had put up some, you had to like email just to view the ebook. And they were making the case that like, you know, you should just let people see the ebook. That's what your product is. And then you can ask for their email if they want like more information from you, but you're basically like blocking people from seeing the thing that, you know, that you're putting on Product Hunt. So they're also honest. It's just important to remember they're not necessarily your target customer. So while their feedback is really helpful, and it'll give you great ideas and a good 360 view of your product from people who, you know, have no connection to you previously. So it's just like they're coming in cold and they're looking at your marketing content, they're looking at your product, and they're giving you like what they see. But it's not necessarily, you know, you shouldn't necessarily build your next feature based on comments from product hunters. Now, if they go on to become engaged users and, you know, they become one of your most engaged users, then they are a target customer and their feedback is really important. But it's just an important thing to remember, especially on the day of Product Hunt. All right, any questions? I'll just stop for a minute, see if anyone has any questions. I don't see any. No. Okay, cool. So you don't actually need that much to launch on Product Hunt. You need just a basic website that explains, you know, what your product is, who it's for, and your key features. You do need to have the ability to sign up and try a basic version of your product. What does not go over well on Product Hunt is when people launch something and then you click on sign up, they take your information, your email, and then it's like, hey, closed beta, we'll email you when it's ready. Don't do that. 2 years before we launched on Product Hunt, somebody had like hunted us, which is what you can do when you post someone else's product on Product Hunt. We were in closed beta at the time, and we had so many like negative comments on Product Hunt because that's like not a good thing to do. So make sure people have the ability to sign up and to actually like try. It can be a, you know, like I said, basic version. It doesn't have to be the feature version, but you want it to be good enough that people have an understanding of what they're going to use it for, and can give you feedback. If it's terrible, like then your feedback's not going to be great. The third thing that you don't have to have, but you should have, is a way to measure your conversions and you know, whatever your KPIs are. So you want to be able to see how many people sign up. You want to be able to see what they do. There's a lot of great tools for that. That's a presentation by itself, but things that you can really easily install on your website, on your product. So you want to be able to look at the end of the day and say like, how many of those users actually went on and did something versus, you know, just signed up. And whatever those important KPIs are to your product, whether it's, you know, installed or went through your tutorial or, you know, built their first whatever. So, you know, think ahead of time what those things are and what you want to measure, because if you miss out on that opportunity, then, you know, you're missing out on one of the key reasons to doing Product Hunt, which is to get feedback on your product. And then not required, but it's really nice to have some sort of like not a chat bot, but a chat message guy on your website that people can talk to you. Product hunters really like I said, to give feedback and to be really interactive. So it's great to have that. Once they come into your website, they will ask a ton of questions. We were busy all day long manning our message box during Product Hunt, and frankly, for days to come. I mean, we had I think our signups went up tenfold. All of our metrics went up tenfold for the day of Product Hunt, and then for almost a week afterwards, we continued to have a lot of traffic. So that's a nice thing to have. A great way to like capture that feedback. Okay. All right. So any questions before I continue? I think, and I open. Yeah.
Actually, I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Jeremy, by the way. Thanks for doing this. Great presentation so far. I just wanted to know, can you, when you launch a product, so I'm working on currently on a digital wallet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's for a distributed ledger and cryptocurrency. Are you allowed to do things like offer small account balances to customers or to users that want to use your product? Like, I'm not sure if that's a legal issue, right? Like because basically the platform is currently doesn't have a lot of network adoption, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of, there's not currently a lot of adoption. So basically just getting a small bit of this currency into people's hands would be helpful, but I'm not sure if that's going to be, I'd have to look and see. I'd have to look at their rules and see what their rules are regarding that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know that I've seen on Product Hunt, people will include a special code. So you can, if you come from Product Hunt, you get some sort of promotion. It can be, free month or, free stuff. So
right.
If what you're describing is the equivalent of that, I don't know the specifics of your currency, but
right.
I think certainly you could say, enter this promo code, or a lot of times if you come from Product Hunt, you automatically get the promo code to get, X amount of currency to get started. I mean, from a Product Hunt standpoint, that would be fine. Now, in terms of whether you're allowed to give away your currency, for digital, I mean, that's a different question, I think.
Right, yeah, that's kind of more of like a SEC type question, right? As opposed to, yeah, that's more of a legal issue. Okay, yeah, that answers the question. Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for bringing that up. I should have mentioned that we had a freemium model, so we didn't do that. But if you do have a way to kind of incentivize people and give them a little special something coming from Product Hunt, that's a great thing to do, and that's very much within the idea of Product Hunt. Product Hunt is meant to be for early adopters. These people want to help. They want to kind of like give you feedback. So offering them a little incentive to come and do that is totally within the way things are done. So that's definitely encouraged, I would say, and it's a great idea. Okay, good question. So I'm going to talk, there's so many good blog posts out there with really detailed checklists about how to be successful on Product Hunt, what to do beforehand, during, and after. That's not my goal. I'm just going to give you high level. Happy to share some blog posts at the end that we followed and different people that we talked to, but just going to give you a high level so you understand what's involved. It's really not that much. I mean, you can do a lot or you can do a little, but think of my presentation as kind of like your minimum. To have a minimum level of success, because some people do nothing. They just launch and they like literally do nothing. So you can do more. You can do better than nothing. All right. So before you launch, first you got to do your homework. Look at your category. Look at all the other landing pages and products within that category. Look at their assets. Whether you don't have to do a video, but their images, their maker comments. All of the different feedback and comments. If there are any that are similar to yours, then spend a little bit more time on those. See what's successful, what's not. Especially those, the comments that people leave are fantastic. They're sort of like App Store reviews, where it's just like raw feedback from users, saying what they like, what they don't like, what they're using it for, other features that they would like. So if there's anything similar to your product, that's just fantastic feedback already. I mean, that's just great data points, even if you never launch on Product Hunt. So you should look at it. So that should give you some ideas. For your landing page, you want to go ahead, you can set up your landing page before you launch. You can also create an early sign up page, which is like similar to your landing page, where you put an image, you put a description, and then people can like sign up to be notified when you launch. And then for your landing page, I would get inspired by some of the other products in your category. You can go ahead and work on your maker comment. The maker comment is where you're like, oh, thanks so much for hunting us on Product Hunt, even though maybe you hunted yourself, and you explain the problem that you're solving and why you built your product. And you really want your maker comment to kind of make you feel human and explain your passion for this product, as opposed to listing out all your features. And then also talking about what it's doing for your customers. Let's see, you also want to seed your early comments. So this is where you email people that are already using your product. Hopefully you have some. If not, then I don't know, email your friends. And you say, hey, I'm going to be launching on Product Hunt. I would love it if you could jump in, first thing and kind of like add some early feedback and comments, and give us some support. And hopefully you get a few people that say yes. And then on the day of Product Hunt, you'll email them right away and say, all right, we launched, go in and leave comments. And these early comments are really important. They start out at the top of the page. By the way, you can also upvote comments. So as comments get upvoted, they move up to the top so people see them. But these are the ones that are going to be up there first thing. And if they're people that are using your product, their comments are so important to get other people both to upvote and to click through and come to your website and try your product. So you want them, if they are customers, you want them to talk about their experience with your product, and not, of course, sound salesy, but just be like, oh my gosh, this is why we're using it, and this is what it's doing for us. And then you also want to create kind of your communications up front, because hopefully you're going to be so busy on the day of that you're not going to have time to write that stuff. So you want to write your social media posts, think about, the different angles, maybe reach out to some organizations that you want to share and support you. Create some emails that you're going to send to your families and friends for launch day. Again, hopefully you're going to be pretty busy. Maybe make the list of all the people that you want to email, that sort of thing. All right, on launch day. So first thing, you are going to either get hunted, or you can hunt yourself now. It used to be someone else had to hunt you, but basically to get hunted, you just make your landing page live, and then you post that maker comment that you've been working on. And that makes you live on Product Hunt. You want to do it as early in the day as possible. We were in Paris, so we did it, I think, at like 9:30 Paris time, because there's a 24-hour schedule that starts like, sometime around there. I forget all the details, but you want to launch as early in the day as possible. And then as soon as you launch, you're going to email that link to all of those early users and make sure that they get on there and start sharing their comments. Then you take all of those communications that you prepared ahead of time and you're going to blast it out. Email everyone friends, grandmas, customers, people that you want to be your customers, and be like, hey, we're on Product Hunt today. We'd love to get your support. If it's customers, you're asking for feedback. You're not supposed to ask for upvotes because that's not really the spirit of Product Hunt. But by asking for support, it's basically saying like, go and upvote us. And then you want to make sure that you are online and visible. So every time someone posts a comment on your Product Hunt page, you're going to respond to it and be like, hey, thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. And answer questions. Also make sure on your website you might be getting emails, you might be getting chats, that sort of thing. So just make sure that you're really responsive, and your goal is really to engage all these people and to like keep, ask them questions, use it as a customer discovery opportunity. If they're asking questions, find out why. You might realize right away that there's like some confusing things about your product or your website or the way you're describing it. So as you start to have more data points, it's going to immediately make certain things obvious to you. Which is great, because remember, these are people who don't know you, unless of course they're your friends, but so they're coming in cold to your website, to your product. So their feedback is going to be valuable mostly because of that, because if they're all asking the same question, then maybe that's something that you're not making clear. So yes, be responsive. And then when your Product Hunt is over, make sure to send a nice email to all the people that supported you, that maybe made comments or shared your post on social media, people that you asked to do that ahead of time. Make sure that you follow up with all those new signups. This is, it's really important. I've seen companies do Product Hunt and they get so busy with everything that they don't really follow up and convert all of those new users. So you could set up some automated nurturing emails. I mentioned that earlier. Or frankly, a day after people sign up, I mean, it's time consuming, but send them a personal email like, hey, especially if you're the founder, thanks so much for signing up. Please let us know, how's it going? Can we help? Any feedback that you have. Remember that product hunters are these social and feedback giving creatures. So the more like personal touch and the more you can kind of ask them for that feedback, they're gonna be happy to let you know. So definitely do that. And then brag and share. So if things went well, like in our case, again, our product hunt went really well. So we wanted to like put it out on the airwaves. Hey everyone, we were #1 on product hunt. Thanks so much to all of our supporters. Like this was fantastic. Here's what we achieved. Here's what we learned. And everyone likes to hear that. And frankly, for a lot of people that maybe have heard about your company or maybe sort of know you but don't know much about you, when they see that, they're going to be like, oh man, they're killing it. Like they were #1 on product hunt. In Paris, it's a really big deal. So in the Paris startup community, our product hunt was looked on very favorably. And we had a lot of people that we had spoken with over the last few months that kind of circled back around like, hey, that's cool. They came in, tried the product, maybe, reactivated old accounts. So make sure afterwards, because you're tired and you're kind of worn out and you feel happy, but you want to make sure that that you let everyone know that what was a success. And and the last thing, we did this, if you get a lot of good comments from your users about why they like your product, take that. That's, again, as I said, that's raw data. That's great data points. Take that. You can post it on your website as testimonials. We did that. Or you can just take some of that and repurpose it as your marketing language. I mean, some of the best marketing language is straight out of your customer's mouth. So you can really use a lot of that going forward on your website. And we even sent people from our website to Product Hunt to read what we call the reviews on our product. Because again, our product was kind of hard and confusing, and it was easier for people to read directly what users were saying than trying to decipher our documentation. So, cool. Any questions before I keep going?
Yeah, sure. Have another one about releasing multiple products via Product Hunt. So the payment solution that we're working on is essentially like an introductory product to another product, like a longer lead product that we're working on.
Okay.
So are they okay with you releasing one product and then 3 months later releasing another product that's related to the first, at what point are they going to get sick of you and say, hey, this guy's just, he's abusing the system or whatever?
Yeah, well, I would say, so is like just the general community. So I would say look at some products out there. I know, I'm trying to think of, so one example, there was a company, Mad Kudu, that I remember. I feel like they did a couple of product hunts around different integrations. They're machine learning MarTech company. So I don't think there's a hard and fast rule on that, but I think if you look online, if you look on Product Hunt at some different products, you'll get a sense. And I think you want to make sure that each of your launches is distinctly different enough from the first one. Like I said earlier, it needs to be a game changer. Like, is this something that's going to completely change what your customers are able to do with your product, or is it going to open it up to an entirely new segment? To me, those are kind of like my own rules about what constitutes like a new product or new launch. And then also the time period. Yeah, I think 3 months is probably a minimum. I wouldn't go closer together than that. But definitely, I would say doing multiple products, multiple launches is a great idea. So, I don't think there's no actual rules on that. Something else you can do, there's tons of blogs written about Product Hunt. So I would search, see if, find some blogs, people that talk about maybe, multiple launches. And if you see some people on Product Hunt who have done that, feel free to reach out to them, go ahead and find them on LinkedIn. I don't know if you can message people on Product Hunt, but most people that have done product hunts are really happy to share what they've learned with other people. So you could ask them that.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. And I guess I didn't, would you guys like me to show you our Product Hunt page? I've been talking a lot about the Product Hunt page and the comments and the feedback. I didn't want to interrupt the presentation, but maybe at the end during questions, I'll after I finish the presentation, I'll jump over and, someone chat. Oh, yes, please. Okay. All right. Well, I will, I have to interrupt the presentation to do that. Hold on, let me see here. Actually, Kevin, I'll do it as soon as I finish because I don't want to jump back and forth. I only have a couple slides left. All right, so the real value of a product hunt launch. A lot of people think that, oh my gosh, it's kind of like the panacea for any, you launch on Product Hunt and from that point forward, you're a great success. That is not really the case. Or they think, they have this one chance, and if it doesn't go well and they don't achieve the top 3 products of the day, then it's been a waste for them, and therefore they should wait as long as possible before they do it. That's also a mistake. I worked for a company that did that, and actually our startup folded before we ever launched on Product Hunt. So don't do that. That especially and we spent a ton of money on Google AdWords, but we never did a Product Hunt launch. So don't do that either. But there's a lot of value that does come from Product Hunt. One thing to remember, it's just one step of your product journey. It's not the end. It's not and don't think of it as the end if it doesn't go well either. But just think about the positive things that you get from it. The metrics, assuming you're tracking We already talked about that. That's a really, because you're able to get a huge amount of data points in a short period of time that would normally take you a lot more time to achieve. So that's fantastic. And I mentioned earlier, you're able to get new users who don't previously know you or have any interaction with you. So the feedback, the questions, the things that are confusing to them, the friction points, are going to be really valuable and allow you to focus on improving those things and kind of smoothing out the customer journey based on their experience. And also it helps you to validate whether you have that, problem solution fit, which I mentioned earlier. And it's an ongoing channel. So it's not a one-day thing. It's something that will continue to send people to your site over the next few months and even years to come. And a little bit more on how it's an ongoing channel. So Product Hunt has incredible SEO. So if I'm on Google and I'm searching for a tool that does X, most likely I will see a couple of products that are on Product Hunt first before I see any websites, any promoted stuff, anything else. And Product Hunt is credible, so I'm more likely to click on those links, and it'll take me directly to like the landing page of that product on Product Hunt. So a lot of times people are searching for, again, a tool that does X, and they come to your Product Hunt landing page. Plus, I talked about earlier why it's credible and why they're more likely to click through and sign up if it's interesting to them. So Product Hunt, it actually gives you some of the best SEO that you'll ever have. Also important, the category that you're in and your description and making sure that you kind of explain and understand what people are looking for. And then another way that they send people to your site is if someone is viewing a product on Product Hunt, there will be a list of similar products or alternatives. So that's another way that people will discover your product. And again, since they're already on Product Hunt, they click on it, they're able to see the comments. So, it's credible. And the legitimacy, which I've mentioned over and over, it's even a reason to send people to Product Hunt from your website. It's because people are on your website, maybe they came across you through a Google search and they're like, oh, this is interesting, but I don't know, this is a startup, I've never heard of them, I don't know anyone that uses them. Especially in our market, developers are not likely to use anything that they don't know of someone else using it or are able to hear someone talking about it on Reddit. So being able to send people to that Product Hunt page and say, read all of these raw reviews from people that have tried our product and are using it and hear what they have to say. That's going to give you something that no amount of marketing is ever going to give you in terms of legitimacy. So if you think about Product Hunt more as a channel rather than an event, I think you'll be more likely to to benefit from it and to capitalize on those things specifically. All right, so before I go to questions, let me jump over, whoops, didn't mean to go there. Let me jump over, I'm going to show you our Product Hunt page. So Zenaton, we had our little GIF up here, and then this is like the short description that appears everywhere on Product Hunt. So this was really important. So we positioned ourselves as Zapier for developers, which high level was good. Once you drilled down, like I said, it was a little bit more than that. But we had our short description here, and then as you go down, now these are all the comments that I was talking about. So here, the first thing you have is, the maker comment. Oh, and of course the upvotes, sorry. You can upvote up here. And you can see and people can continue to upvote your product forever. And then you can see we were the #5 product of the week. We were also the #1 product of the day. Usually it'll show that, yeah. So that, again, that on Product Hunt, that gives us a lot of validation forever. So here's the maker comment. This is one of our founders that kind of explained why he built Zenaton and who it was for and why, and it's a pretty long maker comment. And then you have, these are all the people that commented throughout the day, and here's a customer talking about how they used it. And then you have our founders were kind of responding and saying thanks. This was another customer that talked about how great they thought it was. And so yeah, you can, and so on and so forth. You can see we had a lot of comments, and I think people continue to leave comments forever as well. This one was 6 months ago, 7 months ago. So yeah, there was our page. And then we had a video on here and then a couple of images, but you can look at a lot of different pages to see what they look like. Some people do more than others. And then of course a link to the website. So yeah, let me go back to my presentation here. Any questions?
There's one in chat.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I can just read it if you want.
Yeah, because I can't seem to get to chat.
Okay, checking out the Product Hunt website